Hi darlings, thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. Today I have a Bible journaling process for you using the Lamplight Faith Devotional from Creative Retreat. And I am going to show you here all the pieces that I have pulled to put this page together. I have the Creative Retreat ink and yield, some of the Faith-Filled digitals, and also some cardstock stickers that came with the kit. I also have some pieces left over from the last video I did. I'll link that below. And in here, I have cut up in 2x2 squares a bunch of the pattern paper swatches that come in the Faith-Filled digitals. So there are 4 different patterns, and I've cut those up in 2x2. And I'm going to make like a quilt-like page here in my Bible. And so I'm going to start off with my favorite Bible journaling technique for background, which is the smooshing method. And I'm just using some packaging and using that color yield to add some of that color or smear some of that color to the packaging. I spritz it with some water and then just move that color around the background of my page. The squares are gonna create that center piece of this page, but I did want some color in the background so it wouldn't be too plain. And so I'm gonna dry off some of that color here. After I dry that off, I go for a Distress Oxide color. I just thought that the yield was a little too light, so I'm gonna mix it with this color. This is Mustard Seed, and as you can see, automatically this color really pops off. So I love the mix of the lighter, more cooler tone yellow in the background with the warmer tone yellow over that. And so after I smoosh that on, I'm gonna pick up some of that color that was super bright with my napkin. I am going to, over on the right hand side, underline my verse, and now I get to work with these squares. So I have them all cut up in a bunch of 2x2, and now I'm just arranging these on my page. So seeing what works, seeing basically, I don't want any of the colors to be side by side or the patterns to be side by side to each other. So I'm kind of just moving those around. I have 4 different, because I have 4 different swatches, it's going to be, some of them are going to be 2, some of them is going to be 3 of each one. But I kind of find a pattern that I think I'm happy with. And so I go ahead and commit to that. So I grab my zigzag glue, and just forgive me because applying the glue to each one of these squares is actually going to be off camera because I was trying to get each and every corner. So I was kind of doing that to the side there. But I wanted to really use a liquid glue because it's really going to get to the edge of each one of these corners. I didn't want it lifting up. And I am going to use these as a basis of kind of like a semi background, but I also wanted to add a title on top of this. So I saw this technique actually in a scrapbooking video, and I thought, how cool would that be using some of the Creative Retreat swatches? I'm always trying to find new ways to use those swatches, whether it's to use it as full washi or to use it as a full background for the back of the page. And I just really love how this turned out. So I'm going to fast forward here some of this. And now we're in the part where I'm going to start looking at my title. So I knew I wanted to use some of these cardstock stickers because I have not dug into them yet. I've been using a lot of the Faith-Filled digitals. I've done 2 entries so far, and I really wanted to use a big title here in Psalms 119 verse 105. And so I kind of wanted to write out that first portion where this verse says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet." And so kind of like an ode to this verse that I love so much. And it really resonates with me because the Word of God has provided me such light and such a safe haven and such encouragement and comfort in some really dark seasons of my life. So I really wanted to make kind of an ode to that. So I'm going to grab a lamp, and I love this color lamp because it kind of pops off a lot off of the page. And then I just organize the other words. Your word is a lamp to my feet. I also love that all of the words kind of fell in a place where they were going to pop off the page and they weren't blending with the color of the square. So it just worked out perfectly. perfectly that way. So I'm also going to use some of these Creative Retreat wonky hearts. This is my favorite way to spread some color around the page. So I add a yellow one over to the right hand side next to my verse, kind of just to draw the eye and your attention there. And then I'm going to grab a couple of the other colors to kind of move around on my page. This part of it is basically just decor, just sprinkling around some colors, kind of perfecting the image that I had in my head for this. And yeah, the wonky hearts work perfectly for that, for sprinkling around some colors. So after I'm happy with that, then I go to add my journaling. So I basically wanted to write exactly what I just said, that the word of God has been that comfort, has been that light in times of darkness, and that I can trust the word of God to do that every time I find myself in a dark place, whether it be that I find myself in a dark place because of the things that are happening in this world, or maybe a hard situation that I'm confronting, or maybe it's a hard place mentally, like a bad mental space. I can count on the word of God to be that light in the midst of that darkness. This can go both ways. It could be a light to the darkness within you, a hard place, like I said, or it can be a light to the darkness that's around you. At the end here, I just talk about me anchoring in both the word and the light, who is Jesus Christ. Because here we're seeing how the word is the light, and Jesus is also both the word and the light. And I can trust and anchor myself in that in dark seasons. After finishing up my journaling, I wanted to fill in some white space with some black splatters, just my go-to for white space, and that wraps up the page. I'm going to give you one last look at how this page turned out. I'm so happy you joined me here on my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I do hope you consider subscribing. I really appreciate you guys doing that. Hit the like button and notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you so much for joining me each and every video, darlings. God bless. Bye.